My name is Bryce with Signode. Today we're going to be doing a packaging station audit at Acme Brick in Denton, Texas. We're just going to be looking at the entire packaging station, starting from the beginning where the round is at to the end, the rollers in the end. So if you will, follow me along and we'll take a look at this stuff together. So we're going to be wanting to share a lot of the best practices about the packaging station. One of them is going to be, if we're starting very front, or the beginning, is going to be the ram itself. You can see the ram, you can zoom in and look at it, you can see that it does have some UHMW on the front of the ram. That's one of the best practices that we've been learning about through Acme plants and other brick plants. It helps have a softer touch on the brick cube when you're pushing. And the idea behind that is try to reduce the amount of chips on the brick and on the package itself. So here at Denton, we do in fact already have a UHMW on the rim, which is good versus just steel alone. Next, you'll see there's side guides in place here. And the guides on this side are actually compressing, as you can see. Some plants you have rollers. If it's these side guides, you just want to make sure that it's helping to guide the brick blade in the cube in when it's coming into the packaging station we're going to be scratching at. If there's rollers in place, where some plants have rollers instead of these steel plates, you just want to make sure those rollers are moving. They're moving and ensuring that the cube is actually pushing. It's straight, it's perpendicular, it's working well. Next, as you move closer to the strapping station itself, we're looking for things to make sure that your chute's aligned. It is straight up and down. We want to make sure that when you go into tension, what your head does, that it's not going back or forth too much and swaying from side to side. And in this case, it's not. You'll see a lot of movement if it has a lot of wear in it. And as you can see, the one here in Denton does not have a lot of movement. So it's just going up and down like it's supposed to. Also, during this process, you have compression bars on this side. And you also want to have a vibrator underneath. So you want the compression bars and the vibrator to be working together at the same time to help nest those bricks within that blade together before you go into high tension with your strapping head. So if you can watch it, Jim, you can probably stand up and see those right there. And even with the next, when the next push comes, you might even want to videotape those. So we want to try to make sure that we're getting compression. The vibrator kicks in, which I haven't noticed if the vibrator is working right now yet. I don't think it is. And then we go into high take-up, high tension take-up. Compression bars came out. They were pushing the brick blade together while it was going through high take-up. Now I don't feel a vibrator because we literally can feel it. So that's one of the things that we want to address in the future. Also, at this stage, you want to make sure that your retracts is on the corners properly. You'll have it on all four corners. So the top is a real product that can be burnt or cut. Sometimes, and it's all about how you lay it on upstream. Sometimes it can drill from side to side. The one here in the plant actually looks like it's right on the corners perfectly. And the idea is that you have so much retained tension on the strapping material, you can see even with retracts in place, you can still see right here where it's indenting the strap. If you didn't have this properly on the corners, most likely you open up an opportunity for the strap to break on the corner itself. So next we're looking at rollers, which is on the conveyor bed rollers. You'll only really be able to see these when the packages are moving. You want to make sure that A, your rollers are actually turning. You want to see if you can see any bearings starting to come out the side, because that might indicate that you're going to need repair on those rollers. So we'll do an inspection here at the packaging station, and when we get done, we'll go on the other side and see as much as we can from the other side, just to kind of look at those bearings. Most of these books are in pretty good shape. Some might be starting to kind of work their way out and may need repair. After you look at your rollers, we have a pusher over here that's going to be pushing the cubes into the secondary, the belly band strapper. I didn't get a chance to look at the pusher right then, but you want, again, in an effort to try to have a softer touch on the cube, to try to eliminate opportunities of chip and brick, you'll want something on that pusher. Some plants have used UHMW. I guess what Jim is using. Some plants have used wood. Anything but steel is our train of thought, to have that soft touch. So then after that, if the cube gets pushed, you go into the second stage, the belly band strapper. Same thing, you're wanting to make sure your chute track is straight and aligned. That's what we're looking for. When the head goes out to the load, you want to make sure it doesn't get cockeyed as it goes out. You got to ensure that you have a good seal, a good weld. And we'll watch this next one get pushed into place. Now, we didn't see any excessive movement of the head during high tension take-up or through the welding process. But now what we did notice, it seems like the head is going out to the load really quickly. And again, in an effort through best practices, we want to try to maybe see if we can maybe reduce some of that air pressure so the head's not going out and slamming into the load. Hopefully that's not chipping the brick, but that's what the whole goal is. We want to have a little less of an impact when it's going out to the load so it doesn't chip anything. So that's something we'll talk to the maintenance team about. So before we get off the platform, we're going to use our tensiometer and we're going to check retained tension on the loads. So we're going to turn around and go back to the main packaging, main line Z20. If you're checking tension, you want to check it within about 12 inches from the actual seal itself. So Z20s, the heads are on the side, so your seals are on the side, so it's actually right down here. Now, we will say this, if you look at the seal itself, this is not the best example of a good seal. You want your strap to be laying on top of one another. And in this scenario, you're about 60%. So you see there's an offset. I mean, it does work, but still it opens up an opportunity for that strap to break. So we're not done. I'm just trying to get out of his way. So now we're going to use our tensiometer to put it on the strap when it stops. So that's the first reading at 90 pounds. We're going to do another one. That one's 140, 150 pounds. And we're going to do another one. I like to do at least 3 and get an average. And that one's about 90.
How much?
90. So we had 2 90s and 140, 150. So that's averaging about a 120 or so. So the goal is to have these at 250 to 300 pounds of initial retained tension. Initial retained tension is achieved at the head, at the machine, the Z20 head itself. So we know through research that over about 72 hours, you can lose up to half of your initial retained tension over time. So our recommendation is to have those high IRTs, so over time it'll be lower, but it still will be safe. So if we're strapping these at 100 pounds, you can lose half of that, which will get you down to 50 pounds, and it'll be loose. That we consider a loose strap. So this is one way to test it. This is the most scientific way to test it. Now there's another way. So, only because I'm wearing gloves. So, if you don't have a tensiometer, if you can walk up to, and you can't measure your tension like we just did, if you can walk up to the strap, you can grab it and turn it around on its back. If you can turn the strap around on its back, it's too loose. It's not a guitar test. Some guys will walk up and say, oh yeah, that's pretty tight, that'll work. That's not true. If you can take that strap and flip it all the way over on its back, then it's too loose. When you get up in those 200, 250, 300 pounds of initial retained tension, you absolutely cannot do that. Now, Jim Ogg might do it, Bryce Key couldn't do it. So, that's going to conclude our station audit. Now we're going to walk around, we're going to check out the rollers on the exit side, and then we'll also want to walk around and get as close as we can to see if we can hear any air leaks on the other side of the packaging station. So, we also want to talk a little bit about the dispensers themselves. So these are PSD 119 dispensers for Z20s and brick stations. These are newer dispensers, and they're still the latest dispensers for brick. These new dispensers came with the heads that Jim got in 2016. The one thing that we want to check and make sure is that we've identified engineering has a pinch point on the dispenser. And right now you can see this little yellow box that's attached on there. So we do want to continue to check and make sure that all the dispensers do in fact have that kit on there, and if they do not, please tell your Signode sales rep and we'll get them to the plants at no charge. So in the pinch point there are the arms, obviously, that are going up and down when you're pulling strap off the dispenser. Well, where they meet at, that's what that box is actually covering up, is where they meet at, that pinch point. So that box eliminates the pinch point altogether. So now we have moved to the opposite side of the packaging station. Really all we're doing over here is listening for air leaks. The compression bars that go out are pneumatic. And if there's an air leak, it's pretty obvious that you will hear it. Over here I can't hear any kind of air leak whatsoever. I'm taking my earplug out listening. It'll typically be around the compression bars, at least the air leaks I've seen in the past. But again, we're just trying to identify something. I mean, we know that air costs money, and it can be a couple $1,000s a year, especially with leaks. So I don't hear any air leaks, you know, both while the compression bars are sitting stationary and while they're in movement. So I think we're good on the compression bars and checking for air leaks on this side. That's all we have to do, really, on this side. last phase of the packaging station audit. We've been on the platform with the operator. We've looked at everything from the ram, the side guides, the compression, the vibrator, the strapping head, the strapping chute to make sure that's all in place. We've inspected the weld. We've talked about the strap tension. We've looked at rollers from the platform. Now, and then obviously we've gone on the other side listening for air leaks where the compression bars go. Now we're at the very end of the packaging station. If you can, you want to try to look at the rollers. We're looking at the same things to make sure the rollers are moving. It's a little challenging here because we do have safety, barricades up, if you will. So, and I get this, so the brick does not fall out. But if you can, kind of peek through it, just to make sure that the rollers are in fact turning. And then the last section is we're looking at the belt itself. And we do notate that on our packaging station audit. If you have a belt that's really worn or torn, then that is something that we notate on the audit. But that concludes our Signode packaging station audit for Acme Brick, Denton, Texas.